Twilly-dilly-dee, 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 tweet, 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 tweet.
She talks to the people all night long, chatting and a-gabbing and a-singing her song. All the divas down on Rainbow Street love to hear Toni go tweet, tweet, tweet. Talking Toni,
Tweet, tweet,
talk, talking Toni.
tweet, twilly-dee,
Oh, talking Toni really gonna talk tonight.
tweet, twilly-dee.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Talking Toni. I'm Toni Holmperm, the singing diva of Long Island. And this is my show here on Strong Island Television, part of the Strong Island Entertainment Network. And joining me tonight from the multi-award winning, critically acclaimed smash hit film that is available on demand right now, The Garden Left Behind. From The Garden Left Behind, we have, I'm forgetting names, I'm so excited. We have Carly Guevara, who played Tina. We have Ivana Black, who played Amanda, and Anthony Abdo, who played Chris. I hope I pronounced everything right.
You got it.
You did.
If I didn't, please forget. You know what? I'm a blonde tonight, and when I become a blonde, like it's strange. The IQ points just automatically drop down, and they don't come back up till I take the wig off. It's I swear it's true. I swear. But I want to thank all of you for joining me tonight. I have to tell all of you, you all were so fabulous in The Garden Left Behind. And I want to congratulate all of you. I think Rotten Tomatoes has ranked it as one of the best movies, LGBTQ themed movies of all time.
Amazing, yeah.
I mean, everyone who sees the movie is just affected by it in such a powerful way. I mean, you all were amazing, and it's a heavy movie. It's not a walk in the park, but I don't want to get too much into the heaviness right away. And I want to talk about, with all of you about some of the fun things, as far as making this movie. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like each one of you, to tell me how you became involved in working on The Garden Left Behind. And Ivana, since you're on top next to me, which way? That way. why don't you go first? You played Amanda in The Garden Left Behind, and you were kind of like Tina's big sister. I would say was kind of like the vibe that I got.
Yeah, very protective of her.
Yes,
That showed in the film. I found out about this just basically through word of mouth. He had gone to the different places like SAG and AFTRA to find actors, and he wasn't finding as many as he wanted to find. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I heard about it, through word of mouth. People remember that I had acted before and that I modeled. And so they were like, Ivana, would you be interested in doing this audition that I heard about? So that's how I came to the audition. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just kind of word of mouth. He did his work. He yes. reached out to so many people. And there were so many feelers out that one of them ended up coming my direction, which was perfect because I wasn't in union. I was non-union. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't going to hear about it unless someone told me or unless I had an agent.
Right. And as everyone knows, or if you don't know, the thing that is so groundbreaking for this film is that every transgender character is played by a transgender actor. So there was none of this, Scarlett Johansson, Halle Berry nonsense of a cis person playing a trans person.
No.
Which, is such a great thing to see.
And yeah, like I say, it's not only just the actors. You have to remember we have producers that are trans, men and women. Like
behind the cameras, yes, behind the scenes as well.
He made sure that everyone was included. Like if this is going to be a picture about trans, he wanted a lot of people to be employed that were trans.
Yes, and he did such an amazing job. And as you all know, Flavio was my guest 2 weeks ago on the previous episode,
The
and
one and
he,
only.
he's the one and only. And he promised he was going to be watching in the audience, but I told him, I said, oh well, Flavio, I've got 3 of your stars, so I may have to get some tea from them about you. So we'll wait. We'll keep him. Let's keep him in suspense. But I told him there might be just a little shade thrown. Because he was the director. So we do have you might want to just throw a little shade on him. And Anthony, how did you get involved?
So my story is pretty, I guess, serendipitous. I was kind of newly arrived in New York to get here as an actor, and I had a friend who had a friend who had worked with Flavio on a short film that he was showing, and he'd just made. And I went to this screening. Just I almost didn't go. It was a cold December New York night, and there was a line out the door for like 40 minutes. But I ended up going. The house was packed, and instantly you could feel like this great energy in there. And I watched the film that he'd made, and it was also incredible. Had 2 Golden Globe nominees in it. Anyway, so I go to the after party. I just kind of sneak into the after party and hanging out with all the friends there. And then I end up going to the bar and just talking to people who had worked on the film. And eventually through the night, Flavio just showed up. We didn't speak for very long, but I introduced myself a bit. I told him I thought his film was great, and he gave me his card, which was this like rectangle of gold that I held on to, knowing that I had this director's contact information. And I reached out to him like a month later, and he let me know that he was working on something. He called me into his office and he showed me the script, and I took it home and read it, and he said, kind of zero in on what you think would fit for this. And I think it was quite early in the process. He had just finished the first draft, I believe. And I read this script and I was emotional, and I learned so much, and you could feel the weight of it and how important it was. And
Yes.
Just mesmerized, and it was something I had to be a part of. And Chris was such an intriguing character to read and to imagine. And I just kind of threw it out there like, Chris would be kind of cool to play. And I think that he had thought the same thing for me and was just kind of testing to see if I saw the same thing. And after that, it just kind of organically grew from there. I mean, I never really auditioned. I was involved pretty early in the process, helping with a lot of the things that indie films have to deal with. And it has been a journey, and I've witnessed a lot of amazing hard work and amazing growth. And it's just been an incredible ride to be a part of. Yeah. Yes.
Well, you're, I envy all of you for being, a part of such, really, it's really an historic movie. And I think, people are going to be talking about The Garden Left Behind for many, 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 many years.
Yeah. And you could sense that really from the first time I read the script. I could feel that it was important. It hadn't been done before in this way. And yeah, we've gotten to this place now, which is kind of crazy where we are.
I know. Now, Carly, who's that little baby that I saw on your lap?
He's such a little tiny baby who is harassing me. He's so cute. Let me see if I can
I'm a huge animal lover. I have cats. But I
This is
love,
my baby. His name is Simba.
Oh, Simba. Oh, how sweet.
He just turned 13 last weekend.
Oh, wow.
He's a little baby. But yeah, he's just talking to me.
Now, Carly, the role of Tina was really such an important part of the movie, because this movie is really Tina's story. And Flavio told me this was the first time you had ever done any type of film work. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true.
And how did you get involved with making the movie?
It's, I guess, I don't know. It's not as crazy as it sounds, but basically, I don't have social media. And I had a friend who did, and she is this badass, like, fashion designer making, like, leather kink gear. And she sent me the link and was like, I think you'd be good on screen. And I had just switched, jobs. And so I read the script and I didn't feel intimidated. I was like, sure, this is a cool story. I guess I could get behind it. I felt very comfortable with Tina and her story. And I said, why not? And I showed up to Flavio's place, and there were other people auditioning. I was like, oh my God, I've never done this before in my life. It's just like, oh my God. And then I just went up and they had me read a couple of scenes, and I just, did what I did, and I guess they liked it. So it just worked out.
Now, you actually filmed the movie back in 2016, is that correct?
Yeah, in 2016.
Yeah, there were Facebook posts
we
from
were
today memories that are like we were on set today, 4 years ago.
4 years ago today.
We were shooting, yeah.
Wow. I mean, the thing of it is, when it doesn't feel like 4 years ago, except for the fact that nobody's wearing a mask when you watch the movie. But it does, it does feel like, even though it's 4 years ago, it feels very current, which is a good thing. I'm wondering if actually, because of the pandemic and people's entertainment choices are kind of limited. Do any of you feel that the pandemic sort of helped the movie in a way, because there's not a lot of choices of things right now, and this is, it's new, it's fresh, and it's available. So I don't know, what do you think?
For me, I mean, I think it did help. I think people were going to see the film anyway.
Sure.
I think that what it made for us, being an independent film, it gave us a leg up, because people who would normally not go see independent films or different types of film are actually looking at the film now. Because they've all gone through their Netflix and Hulu's and all the stuff is done, and they're like, let's try some new stuff. Or people are just they're exploring themselves because they were in quarantine, and they're like figuring out who they are as people and looking at different subject matters and stuff. So I think it did give us a leg up. I'm kind of happy about it. But on the other end, the tour is over, and I was having fun on the tour.
Right. What was that like for all of you? Like watching the movie with the audiences that are having such, a great reaction to it. Anthony, how did you feel?
Well, incredible. It was amazing hearing the sniffles, getting the hugs afterwards. The energy after every screening is like so, it's so visceral, you can feel everything. It's such a powerful film. Particularly for the premiere, we premiered at South by Southwest in Austin, and I grew up in Texas, so it was awesome for me because I had so many friends and family come out, and that was just an amazing experience for the first, to see the film on a huge screen in a real theater. Can't really beat it. So it was amazing for me. Yeah.
I can't imagine. Although I did tell Flavio, he better put me in his next movie. I told him there better be a part for a singing drag queen, Flavio.
I'm sure he's got you. He'll find something for sure.
Actually, I was more like, please, Flavio, please, I'm wasting away here on Long Island. Can I also just say, I've never had, an entire guest panel made up of such beautiful guest stars. And I believe it's in my contract that there should not be more beautiful people than me. So Bobby, you're fired. You hear me, Bobby? No, I'm kidding. But also, as I was saying before, the movie is really about the different relationships that Tina has with all the other people. So Carly, let me ask you, um, your relationship, Tina's relationship with her grandmother in the movie is just such a beautiful, powerful thing. Um, uh, did you draw from real life? Did you have like, or do you have like a closeness with an older female family member that you could draw on for that?
I think I just really got along with Miriam. She was
And
just
she is
amazing. I met
fabulous.
her. She
Oh my
is. She
God, she
is a
is
million
fabulous.
percent. A million percent. There's nothing but gold to be, golden words to be said about her. I
Mhm.
met her on set. I just liked her. I was just like, oh my God.
How
I
could
feel
someone
so
not
much
like her?
affection,
Oh my,
so much
yes.
affection towards her.
Okay.
And I guess so. I mean, yeah, I don't know where I pulled from, but I guess I just modeled it after,
Mhm,
maybe how I am with my grandma, or just,
mhm.
someone that you love.
Yes.
Uh, and it just works so naturally just because of who she is,
Mhm.
and the way she is, her energy. You just can't help it. You just fall into that role with her, and it's so easy, so
When
easy.
she falls in love with the vacuum cleaner at the beginning, it was just like it was like, how could you not like fall in love with her? I mean, that was like everyone's grandmother. Wouldn't matter if they were Mexican, Italian, Jewish. It wouldn't matter. It's like here's
They all
this little,
just want a vacuum cleaner.
yes. Yes. And also this scene where, and I'm being careful not to spoil things, so I'm trying to only talk about things peripherally. But the scene, Carly, after Tina had hooked up with Jason in her bedroom, and the next morning it's like she's having her breakfast of shame, and the and
Yeah.
and the grandmother, her abuela, is like kind of giving her like that side eye, like she knows what she did, and he's like, couldn't he have slept on the couch? It's like so typical, really, of probably a lot of people's grandmothers that would be like sort of reading them for like not being a good girl.
Of course, of course. I think that was a great scene too. It's just so
Yes.
nuanced, and when he was sneaking in, see, and she's like awake with the one eye open, like, I see you, girl. I see what you're doing. It's just those little things that happen in families and in your own relationships with close
Yes.
ones, that
Yes.
just think it just happens so naturally, which really helped.
Yes. Now, let me ask all of you, what would you say is probably the funniest moment that you had on set? I mean, I know, I we do know the movie is very serious and has a very powerful moment. But when as actors, when you're all when and I've done plays and things, so I'm familiar with this. When you're all sort of herded together in a small space and you're working late and long hours, there's got to be stuff that goes down that like you just can't stop laughing. Ivana, why don't you go first? Because I know you have
I was just
something.
gonna say, Ronnie, you go first.
Because mine has to do with abuelita.
uh,
So, she and I were going through our lines because we had that amazing scene together.
yes.
And I was really trying to like figure out how I was going to approach the scene with her, because at first I wanted to go very aggressive, but then I took a more nurturing tone. And so we were just talking, and she and I had been talking beforehand. So she didn't know that we were going to rehearse. So when I said, let's go rehearse, we started rehearsing the lines. And she was like, so why is Tina like that? And we were just going back and forth, and she was asking these questions. And then I realized she was really asking me the question.
Oh.
Yeah, she was really asking why Tina wanted to go through this process. So I tried to explain it to her, and she was like, oh, okay. So then we started talking about like cooking again, all these different things. She's like, yeah, I was really interested because they were hiring all these trans women and stuff, and wow, they are beautiful. And oh, they're so smart and tough. I said, yeah, I mean, it's an amazing group of people. She goes, yeah. Well, then how did you get the job? I said, what do you mean? She says, well, they're hiring trans women, so how are they having a regular woman play the role? I said, no, I'm not a regular woman, I'm trans. She said, huh? Wait. Oh, we were best friends from then on. She was like, no. And so we started talking, because we've been talking about everything, about cooking together and housekeeping. We were having whole conversations, like homemaker conversations on set.
What was she really cooking that food?
Oh, she was.
I tell you, because
I didn't know if we used seasoning, but she was cooking them platanos.
They looked really good. I tell you, I've watched the movie multiple times. I watched it again earlier today, and every time I watch it, I see something new. And watching her cooking those plantanos, I was like, those look really good. I wish I had some for lunch.
They did good, smell really good on set. I can assure you.
I'm sure Keo, our cameraman, was also like feeling it too. He got the really good beauty shot there.
And no food was wasted on set.
Oh, okay. I gotta say something, Ivana, about food, because one of your best reactions is when you guys were in like the diner, and Tina pushes the pie away, and Ivana, your reaction, you're like, girl, don't push the pie away.
And I did have the pie when it was done. I want everyone to know, I'm very clear, I'm not ashamed of it. I hated it when I got home, but I had the pie. Like I said, every time I watch a movie, I see new little things, and I just happened to notice that today, that when Tina pushed that pie away, you got this reaction, like you're like, oh, yes. Like how could you push the pie away? I had the pie.
And Anthony, what would you say was one of the funniest moments for you on set?
Well, there's two kind of scenes in the bathroom with my character, and I think both were pretty funny. When cut was yelled, I know you wanted to talk about it later, but the haircut scene, there was just such a big buildup for me personally for such a long time to that, and it was a one take thing, and my hair is super thick, and so like hair and makeup had to get the horse shears, like the most powerful shears you could get, so that we didn't mess it up. It didn't stop working once it got halfway through my head. So I had to be really serious about it, and then once we yelled cut and there's hair all over me, it just burst out laughing. It was also, I think, like 3 or 4 in the morning, so we were delirious, and but that one sticks out as like a funny moment that I'll never forget.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
And Carly, what would be the funniest moment for you?
I don't know. That's a terrible answer. But in speaking about this, I mean, it was humorous just in the fact of the scene itself. If you watch it, and they're doing the 30th birthday party for Tina, and you look closely at what they're doing, someone forgot plates, and so we're serving this chicken and like all this food for the birthday party on napkins. On napkins.
I didn't see
Oh
that.
my god! And it was like raining that day, and like they had this like special tarp to protect it, and like the napkins were getting wet, and I was like, "Oh my god, what are we doing?" I just started. It was just hilarious, just little things like that, and we ran with it.
Oh, we have to read Flavio for that. We have to read it. Flavio, where are the plates? You have to eat like chicken and rice on napkins, Flavio. Shame on you. No, we
So
love-
I thought that was very funny. Yeah, it worked. It worked. And then in one scene, Ivana's lipstick, you know, I'm very fortunate to have had her autograph. Her you know, her lips were on my yeah. It just so happened, like I think we were like legit celebrating and really hugging each other, and she kissed me, and it just stayed. And I was like, well, it made it to the scene. I don't know.
Well, that was one of those little things that it just made it. It made it very real. It really did. It made the movie feel authentic, I guess is what I should say. So any things that you can tell me since we're shading Flavio a little, any little tidbits that you guys want to share about Flavio, some little humorous moments.
It's not, I mean,
He's
it's not humorous. It's just a point of truth.
Mm-hmm.
He's a director,
Yes.
and I'm an actor.
Mm-hmm.
His job is to give me direction. And sometimes he would have to give me directions, and he has to be harsh and, be a little stern about his direction.
Of course.
But I'm just saying in the back of my head, can I swear on here?
Yes. Go ahead.
You'll come up to him and be like, Ivana, blah, blah, blah. And here's this little short little man looking up at me, trying to yell at me, and I'm just looking at him like, it's always so funny when he's trying to correct me because I have to look down at him because he's a little short and I'm tall, and usually I'm in heels, so I'm really tall, looking down at him.
Right,
and
right.
he's looking up at me like, and I'm just like, okay, sir. Mm-hmm. So I just had to laugh sometimes because I really took him seriously, but at the same time it was funny because I was just like looking down at this little man yelling.
Yeah, well, us little people, because I'm only 5'2" in bare feet, so we make up for it by having big mouths. It's what we do. So, Anthony, is any little funny moment about Flavio that you can share?
Oh Jesus, there's so many.
So
Flavio Alves
many to choose from.
is an amazing character. He's an amazing character, and he's and in all honesty, he's, if not the one of the hardest workers I've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, I think comes his perfectionism, and just one incident that kind of comes to my head is we were doing videos for the eBay My Film campaign, which, if you guys don't know, we used eBay to raise money for the film in a really interesting way. But I had this little camera, so we were shooting kind of the video for it, the fundraising video. And it was his turn to kind of say his words about it, and we must have done at least 50 takes. 50 takes of this. It was he just really wanted to get it right and perfect, and it was kind of an example of his work ethic. This whole beast is on a leash that Flavio's holding, and has been from the beginning. So, but just kind of as an example. But we were up really late, just shooting Flavio over and over again, so we could get it right.
And Carly, what little funny thing can you tell us about Flavio?
I don't know exactly the greatest. I think we've had our ups and downs in my relationship with him, but it's become so great that I realized the other day, like, I've been so down on myself and like thinking, I've been exposed to so many mentors when it comes to art, and I've been thinking like, well, when's the next one coming? Like, what's next? And I realized that the next one was Flavio. That was the next, my next mentor, and that's the current period I'm in. So it's not really a shade; it's more of a love that he's really has helped me and brought me under his wing. I think he's very funny. super brilliant mind, and he works so much. And you're so right. His mind is just always at work, and I don't know how he deals with it. I would explode. I would explode. He's just constantly like talking and constantly trying to like figure out projects that he's doing. So much stuff that he has to handle. So yeah, so basically my funny thing is that he's hardworking and I like him.
Well, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. All right, we're going to take just a very quick break right now, and we will be back right after this break with more of the cast of The Garden Left Behind. Stay tuned. Hello, we're back with Talking Tony and the cast from The Garden Left Behind, which of course is to my I don't know if I don't know if you're on my left or my right, girl, because it's Zoom. So, but we have Ivana Black, we have Anthony Abdo down there, and below me is Carly Guevara, all from the cast of The Garden Left Behind. Now, I tried to keep things very light and happy in our first segment of the show, but the movie is a serious and heavy body of work. And one of the things that people may not be aware of, even today, I was looking, online, and as of August 7th, I don't know if this has changed, but according to the National Center for Transgender Equality, at least 28 transgender people have been murdered or their death is suspicious so far this year, compared to 26 total last year, and the year is not over. So this is it's a crisis, and I myself am not transgender. I'm a drag queen. When I'm done doing this, I take everything off and I can go out, walk on the street, and I look like any other cisgender male. But transgender people do not have that luxury. It's please, if I say anything wrong, please correct me.
Mhm.
When a transgender person goes out on the street, that's who they are, and you are vulnerable, because you don't know. Someone may read you as being transgender, and they may be a transphobic jerk, and may want to say mean things to you, or God forbid, hurt you physically. And it's a serious problem. And I know I don't have any answers. But the movie has brought attention to this problem.
Yeah.
And what can all of you share about this with people that are watching that are not aware of how serious an issue this is? So,
Ooh, silent.
Ivana, why don't you
You want to go first, Ivana?
You're
You
on,
go first.
you're on top, so you go. You're on top, so you go first.
I think that just most people don't realize that they take for granted the idea of just, like you said, going out into society and just enjoying themselves without fear. I mean, I consider myself privileged in the sense that I'm considered passable, and so I don't have that many problems when I go outside. But the truth is, I still worry about whether I'm going to make it home at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Is that moment going to happen where I run across someone who does figure it out and has like this huge hate for who I am or what I stand for? So yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize that they're lucky in the sense that they don't have to worry about that. And in the climate we're in now, I not only do I have to worry about being trans, I have to worry about being Black. So it's like this whole ball of stuff that you have to go outside the door with every single day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Carly, what do you feel about this issue?
I mean, you reading that just really. There's a word. It's like it's ice water. There's a word.
Yeah.
Sober. Sober. Brings the mind to soberness. It sobers me up in a way that it brings me immense sadness and tears to hear that, and because it's true, and it's not really even that we have the luxury or don't have the luxury. It's just who we are. Right. It's just, this is the way I gotta be, and this is the person that I was sent here on Earth by whomever, and it's very unfortunate that in a lot of societies, that person, just the idea, the identity of it, is something that many would desire to be erased or removed, and I think that hearing those numbers and those statistics and just how vulnerable anyone, I mean, even let's say you're not trans, but anyone who's anything other than the norm, right? So what we expect is, okay, we expect a dude who's not gonna be a drag queen. So, you yourself, if you're caught at the wrong moment in between a gig or something, someone may lash out, or they may take, if they see you at a show for being a trans woman. And so, there's all these nuances, and it's very interesting of all these intersections, right, with drag queens and, female impersonation, trans men, et cetera, et cetera. It's this whole giant thing. I just think any deviation is, castigated, or it's punished very heavily in a lot of societies. It's just very sad. It's just very sad because it doesn't need to be that way. I mean,
no.
It's so senseless. When you hear about the two trans women, this is what touched my heart. It was just these two trans women in Puerto Rico burned alive in a car. That's bizarre to me. So that could have been me. I could have been down in Puerto Rico. Luckily I was born here, but it's very saddening.
It is, and as I say, I'm not transgender, but I have a lot of friends that are transgender, and and I support them. And even though I do not know what it feels like to be transgender, it doesn't mean that I can't support them, feel for them. I have one friend who's begun transitioning, and she actually had a blind date, and and I said, well, does he know that you're trans? And she said, yes. I told him and everything, and I was like, and I said, listen, when you get home, you text me the minute you get home. I said, I want to know that you are home safe and sound, because you worry.
And that's important. I think that's another thing about the story and the friendships in the story, is that trans women need that. There's so many people who aren't there for them to check on them, to make sure they're okay. You know what I mean? A lot of the trans women that have had these incidents, of course, they've had family and friends that had to fight for them. You know what I mean? So when people like yourself and other people advocate for who you are and want you to be safe and say, call me or make sure you get home okay, make sure you're okay. That's important. I think that's what was important about this film too, because after the movie, when we were doing our conversations, that's the first thing cisgender people would ask. How can we help? And that's where you start at.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Anthony, you're also the other cisgender male here tonight, even though I don't look it. What do you feel about this? And you know what? Coming into this project, were you aware of everything, you know, as far as this issue, or did you learn a lot or new things?
I was ignorant by product of our society, I think. And it has been a really incredible experience for me personally. I have so many friends and family who've seen the film either at festivals or, you know, now on Amazon, that have been really affected and their eyes have been opened. And geez, that's what the point of the film is. I recently heard a line, not specifically about this issue, but someone was telling someone else, my dreams are your rights. And that works in this instance, that works in so many instances in the world right now in our country. And that's something that as a cis male isn't something that I'm always thinking about. My dreams don't involve my rights. I have my rights, be it civil or in social settings. And it's a shame that this movie had to get made. You know? It's a shame that we're still talking about it. It's just a shame that those numbers are going up every single year. But from a cis male's perspective involved in this project, I mean, it was incredibly eye-opening, and I am forever an ally and an advocate. And I hope that anyone who watches feels the same way. That's the point.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when I was talking to Flavio about the movie, I was saying one of the extraordinary things about the movie is that the character of Tina is really, she's such an ordinary person. You know, she could have been your sister, your coworker, your cousin. I mean, Tina represents, like, you know, so many people in our lives.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that is the power of the film, is that Tina, while she may be trans, is not defined by her transness. You know, she's defined by her love for her grandmother, her friends, everything that's relatable, her dreams, her hopes, her goals.
Yes.
And what happens in the film is a product of her transness, which makes people ask why. And I think that's so important. That's the power of the film, is that it's so relatable to anyone.
Yes.
It's a human story.
Yes, it is. That's what I said to Flavio. It's a human story. The other great thing that I felt about The Garden Left Behind was I really didn't know what was going to happen at the very end, and I'm not going to spoil things. If you haven't seen the movie, it's available now on everything: iTunes, Amazon Prime, Google Play. The Garden Left Behind. See it, rent it tonight. But the very end scene, I didn't know, like, what was going to happen between Chris and Tina, and which is a testament to Anthony and Carly. You know, your portrayal of these characters that kept me in such suspense. I mean, it could have gone, like, there were so many ways to me it could have gone. And actually, when I watched it, one of the secondary times that I watched the film with my husband, when we got to that climax at the end, my husband literally gasped. I mean, out loud. He was like, oh! I mean, for somebody to have a reaction like that is quite powerful. Flavio told me that when they were screening it at the different festivals that you were at, that some people couldn't take it, that they had to leave.
Yeah.
Did any of you see that happen?
Several times. Several times.
And that gasp was like at 20 decibels. Like it was loud in every theater, you know. Yeah.
At South by Southwest, it was definitely. I mean, a lot of the screenings, I haven't seen anyone who wasn't able to handle it, but that gasp it's heard. It's loud and it's silencing. Um, yeah, I have so much I want to say, but I don't want to give it away. And
I know, I know. It's like you see it, and it's like you just want to. Oh, you've got to see this movie, and this happens, and this, and then it's like, oh, but I can't tell you because I don't want to ruin it for you. So.
Yeah, I think 3 points just on the ending is just one. This man in Cleveland came to see the movie just because it was about immigration. He just saw the keyword immigration and came as I was going to be about immigration and left. Obviously it is, but it's just one of the many facets of Tina. He thought it was going to be a documentary and he just hugged me and was like very, I think it was an eye-opening experience for him to just a new perspective that he usually wouldn't have seen. And then 2, in San Antonio, when I was at the film festival there, I was paired with someone, to show me around the city. And she hadn't seen it. And I was like, well, I can't wait for you to see it. And I forget, it's so weird because like, I forget, I tell my friends and stuff, like even one of my best friends, I'm like, yeah, you should watch it. And I forget what really is going on. And so some people, it's very impactful to them. And it's just a lot and you have to be prepared to take it. And so when the movie finished, she cried and she hugged me and just was like, just want to hug you and make sure that you're okay. In other words that I can't say that probably would give it away. And then lastly, when my mom saw it, and I thought that was really funny. I was like, oh my God, with the sex scenes or like the romance. I'm just like, oh my God, I left the room. It was like, I'm not watching this. My mom's in the room. And then at the end, she also cried. And I think the message, I think the idea of what's going on is she got it and she understood. And I think it's very interesting, Toni, as you're saying, so many people take it 2 ways of what's going to happen with Anthony's character, Chris. Yeah, I think I guess the ambiguity there is good to have, where audiences can infer what they would like to read into it. I mean, obviously we each have our own interpretation, but I wouldn't have taken the script or the movie if it wasn't the way it is,
For me, it's affirming. That part, when I was sitting in theaters watching people's reactions, at first it was like, okay, I want to see what it's going to be. But then it was like, I hope they react. Like, oh my God, I need them to react because it affirms that they feel something and that they were caught off guard at the idea of what my life really was and what I have to go to and trans women have to go to on a daily basis. And Absolutely. So it's affirming for me. I feel like a sigh of relief, like, okay, good, they got it. You know what I mean? Like they felt something. Because at first I really thought people were going to be non-emotional, like not care. So actually when I hear people make that noise, I'm like, okay.
They got it.
They got it.
They got it, yes.
So hard to talk about without talking about.
I know. Like it was when I had Flavio on, I kept saying to him, there's so many things that I want to say about the movie. In some ways, I can't really find the words to express it. And then in other instances, there's things I don't want to say because I don't want to ruin things for people who haven't seen it, because I want everyone who's going to see it. And as I keep saying, you've got to see The Garden Left Behind. When they do see it, I want them to have that that visceral reaction, of not being prepared, to know like what's going to happen. Because I think that's another thing that makes the movie so powerful.
Mm. I agree.
And
it's very polarizing, the whole thing.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
from day one, when I spoke to Flavia about the script, he was like, "This one's polarizing." Talking about the role, and so
yes, because Anthony, your portrayal of Chris, I'm sort of like, afterwards, I'm like, do we like Chris or do we hate Chris?
that's the thing, yeah.
And it's like, which is good in a way. It's like, I know Flavio said he wanted a lot of things to be open-ended and to leave it for people to make up their own minds, what to think, what to feel. He didn't want to just, hand everything to people on a platter, except that chicken and rice that he handed on the napkin. But he didn't want to hand, he didn't want to spoon feed things to people. He wanted them to think.
Right. And I agree with Ivana, and I think I think it is it's not that the script itself is polarizing. It's our identity. As Ivana was saying, it's great to see that people are affected, but it's that our own lives, it can be so problematic for people and just our very existence. And so the nature of that, the film is exactly that. It's a slice of life in Tina and her trying to do her stuff in New York. And just because of the fact that she does hold so many identities which are polarizing, it brings this these reactions, these visceral reactions from people and others around her towards that. It's just our lives. I mean, and there are many people who I'm sure would love to have a Chris and Tina moment with me. If they knew or if they don't, I don't know. But it's something that's very real to us. So I just basically just want to say that in terms of the script, it's polarizing because it's real, because our lives are polarizing.
Absolutely. Now, I wasn't going to jump to this, but Ivana, you said your phone may be running out of juice.
Oh yeah, I brought my laptop and I forgot the charger.
Well, just in case, because I don't want you to go off screen. But so if you don't mind, tell everyone quickly, like, what future projects you have planned and where people can find you on social media, just in case your laptop dies.
It's going slow, so
okay.
I took off my light and stuff.
I just want to be safe.
Yeah, mine. It's Ivana, Ivana Black, BLACK, the number 9 at Instagram, and then it's Ivana Black, Ivana Black at Twitter and at Facebook.
Right.
Where you can see me. Sometimes you can see me on a runway, but I've just been looking for just new pieces to work on, new art, up for a play.
You did something today with Citibank.
Oh, yeah. Did a national campaign for Citibank today. I just filmed it right before I got here. I was running here to get here. That's why I forgot my charger. And it's a national campaign for Citibank, which is going to allow people to use their name on their cards.
That's fantastic.
Very, very happy to be.
That's amazing.
They were so amazing on set. They were so comforting. They made me feel good. I have nothing bad to say. It was an amazing experience. And so I'm really glad that I got the campaign, of course, because it's a check and, it's a job. But I like projects that also mean something. And so it was so nice that this bank is making an effort to find a way to make its customers feel as comfortable as possible and who they are when they.
That's fantastic. That is so great. We're coming quickly to a close. I had so many things I wanted to talk to all of you about, but unfortunately, it's only an hour-long show. But one of the things I did want to ask you guys about, I don't know who posted it on Facebook, but it was when you guys were doing one of the restaurant scenes with Tim Moss, who played Demos, and he had you guys doing the Vogue rap. It looked like
he posted that. Oh, that's the outtake. That is the outtake.
Yes, it's I saw it on Facebook. What was that all about?
Well, I'll just say it very quickly, but because when you're on set, and anyone who's out there who's acting or is thinking about acting, sometimes like you've been on set for so long, you have to repeat things, you have to do stuff so many times that you kind of like check out of the scene. But Flavio had this great way of getting you to check back into the scene. He'll make you say stuff or do stuff. And one day we were just joking around with Vogue, just like a little piddly thing. And so periodically he would let us, that was how he wake us up. Okay, you guys see that song? And we're like, he would just wake us up, bring the energy back so we could get back into the scene. Yes! I was like, I had to frame mine differently because I had the pie, you know.
What flavor was that pie anyway? It looked really good. Apple?
Apple. It was.
Oh, it looked good. It looked good.
4 years, can't forget.
And Anthony, what projects are you working on, and where can people find you?
I'm kind of dabbling in a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously COVID is really slowing down a lot of artistic industries. So I'm trying to focus on doing a lot of writing for stuff that will eventually be made when we're like in a safe world again. I do a lot of music too. I'm a singer-songwriter, so I'm trying to record a lot of that right now and put it out.
Carly and I be in your video.
Do what?
Carly and I will be in your video.
Oh yeah, all right.
If you need someone to harmonize, throw a singing drag queen a bone.
I've got the whole band here. All right. After this is over, this is first practice. I'm not joking around.
Oh, we could be like, one of those old Robert Palmer videos. We'll be the three girls in the background.
Perfect. I'm on Instagram at my last name, ABDODOE, so Abdodo. And yeah.
And that's where we can find you. And Carly, what are you working on right now, and where can people find you? Although you said you're not really on social media.
Yeah, I'm not. But obviously, from this interview, what I should be doing is obviously writing a movie to cast you in it, because we need to hire Toni, obviously. What I'm doing is writing the next play, the next movie with you. Yeah, I'm not on social media.
Jesus! Hallelujah!
There's gonna be a little girl. The title's gonna be A Little Girl in Ronkonkoma. It's something, Rooney from Ronkonkoma. Yeah, I'm not on social media. I'm finishing a short film, thesis film for AFI that is wrapping at the end of October this year. It's called Spaceship. It's set in Los Angeles, and it's a great story. So check that out when it comes out.
Is it science fiction related?
It's in a way, I guess, more so drama, but I think just the sci-fi aspect comes from the interest of space and exploration from one of the characters.
Because I love sci-fi, and I don't know.
I love sci-fi too.
I don't know if all of you are aware, but this coming season of Star Trek Discovery, they actually have a non-binary crewmate joining and a transgender cast member joining. So it's the first, they've sort of dabbled in non-binary and transgenderism, but this is the first time ever that they're actually having
hiring.
And it's being specifically stated, outright. This is a non-binary character. This is a transgender character, and they are played by non-binary and trans actor.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, they need to call
Wow.
They need to call me when they decide to cast a true Amazon woman. Because they always have Amazons, and they're like 5'2", pixie blonde hair. And I'm like,
Excuse me. I feel very attacked, Ivana. I feel very attacked.
6'2" without heels on. Can you imagine me with my big sword? Whoosh.
Yes, absolutely.
Hire
You
some real
should.
Amazons to play Amazons, please.
Oh, you'd be so good.
You would actually. In the comic books, Wonder Woman has a black sister. She's like the Black Wonder Woman. She's called Nubia. Is her name?
Oh, I
So
can do that.
you would be perfect for that. They're making more Justice League movies.
Okay,
Girl,
let's figure it out. Okay,
you gotta get in that.
Wonder Woman's sidekick, Nubia, right here.
Her sister. No, she's not a sidekick. She's equal.
Oh, she's equal. Oh, okay.
Equal, girl. She getting her own
Equal.
movie. She's getting her own movie, her own soundtrack.
Okay, I don't need the Wonder Woman heels either.
Well, I want to thank all of you so much for coming on tonight and doing this with me.
Thank you for having us and spreading the film's message. And
I've been sharing it and talking about it and posting and reviewing as much as possible. I think it's just such an amazing, powerful, and important movie for our times. As I said, I think this is a movie that will be a must see. When people say, what are the best LGBTQ themed movies to watch? The Garden Left Behind is going to be one of the most important films. Oh, and we lost Ivana. Her laptop finally gave out, but that's why I wanted to get all her info in first. But I want to thank you, Carly, and you, Anthony. Of course, Ivana, who's not here at the moment. Her laptop died. But I want to thank both of you so much. Just for coming on and doing this with me. And I want to tell everyone out there who's watching, you have to see The Garden Left Behind. It is available right now, video on demand on Amazon Prime, iTunes. I think it's on Google Play. If you go to
Vudu,
all those things.
all the
So
things.
there's no good reason not to see it. A very important film for our times. So I want to thank all of you who tuned in tonight to see me with this lovely cast from The Garden Left Behind. And I will see you all again in 2 weeks' time. So good night, everyone, and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.
Twilly-dilly-dee, 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 tweet, 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 tweet.
She talks to the people all night long, chatting and a gabbing and a singing her song. All the divas down on Rainbow Street love to hear Toni go tweet, tweet, tweet. Talking Toni,
Tweet, tweet,
talking Toni.
tweet, twilly-dee.
Oh, talking Toni, gonna talk tonight.